Alrighty, that was a tense one. This is the penultimate episode of 30 Coins, episode 7, La Caja de Cristal, or the Glass Box. So this is just a warning, this will have some spoilers from previous episodes. I've linked spoiler-free reviews of the previous episodes in the description below if you need them. In episode 6, we saw Father Vergara being held prisoner in a hole in the ground, and I think it was in Turkey. I mean, he's been hiding out from Santoro, but because of his differing beliefs from the religion of the land, he's put into captivity. Elena was hanging out. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it, hanging out, right? She was with Roque in Paris, and Roque shows Elena the coin at dinner. So she obviously freaks out because she thought it was gone, and then some old dude who's under the power of Santoro's goon is sent in to get the coin. So of course chaos ensues, Roque is killed, which obviously wrecks Elena, and she's been having a rough go of things anyway. Her husband comes back, then turns out to be a possessed scarecrow that tries to kill her, and now her boyfriend gets all shot up during dessert. And at the end of the episode, she's still got the coin. Paco is going mad at home and he's deteriorating in his mental state. He misses Elena and he has decided to leave Marche. He's just unraveling at the seams. I mean, he's disheveled and even sickly looking, and he acts erratically and isn't in any state to be making large decisions. Jesus has killed himself because he can't reconcile the fact that he killed Elena's husband and then saw the dude come back to life roaming the town. And poor Lagunas, he has 2 federal agents come in and take over. And while I guess he's a bit relieved to get some help, he's also nervous because he knew that Jesus had killed Elena's husband 2 years earlier. Just craziness. And at the very end of the episode, a new priest has come to town, and it's a devil, or maybe the devil. I mean, it's the one that opens the door in episode 3 for Santoro to gain all of that knowledge and power that he now has. So episode 7 kicks off with Vergara having a vision, and I think it's a bit cathartic for him to receive this. He's still being held captive, and we learned in the previous episode that his sentence is death. So now he's just waiting without really any hope of survival. In the town, the new priest, Father Angel, which I think is really funny and fitting, seeing how he's a fallen angel, well, he's setting up shop, and the townspeople are unaware of who he really is. They're just happy it's not Vergara, whom they blame for all the problems that the town has been having. Merche is much stronger in this episode. I mean, she's always had a strength to her, which is also grated on me sometimes with how she's carried out that strength. I mean, she was overbearing a lot of the time. But in this episode, she has a voice and a punch to back it up. We get to see some more odd happenings in the town, and I'm glad that Antonio has a larger part in this episode. There is some weirdness to his character, I mean, outside of how odd his character already is, but he does certain actions and then will do something to counteract them. It's almost like he could be under a spell, but able to break out whenever he chooses. There's also this point with him where he gives some information to the townspeople, and then he just promptly sits down and has a beer. It was abrupt and really odd, but then the scene moved on, so I wasn't really focused on that weirdness for too long. This episode is leading to the culmination, I think, of everything. The tension was steadily building as each minute passed, and it wasn't a slow build. I mean, it was a huge upward trajectory of tension. The federal agents and Lagunas are clashing a bit, and the town is really beginning to be fed up with all of these strange occurrences. And what that makes is a powder keg of emotions. The old lady from the field with the scarecrow is back, and she's still just as odd and weird, and she has a hand in some really disturbing activities within the town. One character shows up getting off a bus and looks like they are channeling their best Sarah Connor. I mean, there's black jacket, pants, combat boots, and aviator glasses, so you know that there's a battle brewing. I enjoyed the imagery and effects in this one. There's something going on with the town that causes a lot of confusion and makes it difficult to navigate through the streets. The terror this causes the townspeople is good because it's a daunting and claustrophobic feel for them. There's also a good use of a limiting feature to keep the townspeople at bay. It adds to the chaos and the fear, and it ended up looking good too. We get an exciting car chase through the town also, and anytime we can get a chase through tight streets, it's a lot of fun. There's an added complicating element to this chase, and that makes it even more treacherous. Now, at one point, we also have a close quarters fight that culminates in a hand-to-hand battle, and the visuals are good, but they made me cringe because some of it looked absolutely painful. The imagery also is very symbolic. Now, the end of the episode did feel a little bit cheesy. There's a sequence that is meant to be serious, but the way that it came together, it just made me smirk. Really though, this is building to what I have been waiting for, and hopefully you have too, an all-out battle between good and evil. And because of that, rosaries and holy water, they're not going to be enough. The pace of this one moved really quickly. The episode is an hour and 6 minutes, and wow, did it fly by. There aren't any monsters in this one, at least like the ones we've seen before, but we all know that sometimes the scariest monsters are the people we come in contact with. I know we saw what Santoro was working on in episode 5, but it would still be good to see what he's been up to as these events have been unfolding. I mean, is he preparing his army of white-clothed priests? Is he farther in the completion of the gospel of Jesus? Has he usurped the Pope to take control of the Vatican and therefore all of the workings of the church? I'd like to know more of that side of the story as the other half is progressing. I mean, Santoro is a pivotal piece to everything given that he is the ultimate antagonist. And while not having all that info isn't detrimental really to the story or even my enjoyment, I do think that it makes the story even more richer to see the schemings going on in Rome while the crazy action is going on in the town and in the streets. I am super excited for the final episode and I can't wait to see the showdown that I believe is coming. I hope that I don't overhype it in my mind, but we're just, gonna have to wait and see come next week. There's no sex or nudity, some profanity, and a lot of violence. I give episode 7, La Caja de Cristal, or The Glass Box, 4.5 out of 5 couches. So how are you liking the series so far? What do you think of episode 7? Did it make you excited to see the finale? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.